Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan Experience are now moving to Spotify as part of a $100 million deal that he has signed exclusive for multi-year. Let's go and talk about it. Story from TechCrunch initially. So actually, we're going to take it for a deadline real quick. They'll give me the straight up point. So the Joe Rogan Experience, which has been in the space for, over a decade. If you talk about podcasting, the show more than anything else is going to be the catalyst. You want to talk about everybody that wants to do a podcast, they should all expect to have a show as successful as Joe Rogan. He basically replaced Adam Carolla as the most downloaded podcast there is. There might be others that might be said to be in contention, but for me, Joe Rogan is the epitome of podcasting and success in podcasting more than anything else. So now, as of Tuesday, the GRE will debut on Spotify beginning September 1st, and all of his content, so that means all the 1,100 plus episodes that he's done of the show, will become exclusive to the platform near the end of the year. No other terms were disclosed, but the Wall Street Journal reported that the deal is worth $100 million. Rogan will make, now this is what's more important, because people were really curious about this, because I think for more than anything else, people were worried about the fact that if he moves his show, is Spotify going to really take over any creative control? Well, here's what it says. And in the story, they're saying that Rogan will maintain full creative control over the show, which will remain free. So even if you're paying for Spotify or you're getting a free subscription, you can still listen to his show. Joe says the show is going to be exactly the same show he launched in 2009. Quote, "It will be the exact same show. I'm not going to be an employee of Spotify. We're going to be working with the same crew doing the exact same show. Nothing else will change. We're very excited to begin this new chapter of the GRE. We hope you're there when we cross over." I'll be there. Now, for me, it's also about the guests he brings on. The guests that he brings on, they just have to be basically, when I feel like it's somebody I want to go and watch, I'll go and watch, but it just depends on who he usually has on. It's really what kind of draws me to go and listen to a show or watch a show more than anything else. The last few episodes I've heard that I've watched of his that I really enjoyed was Bill Maher, Adam Curry, Tim Pool. Those are the kind of guests that really draw to me. And watching Dan Aykroyd or watching, Eddie Bravo and some of the others is pretty good. It's also one thing that I did read is that the YouTube channel will no longer have his show appearing there, but there will be the clips. So the JRE clips that you might see that's always been subscribed to, that it'll give you good clips of the show. Now, the only thing I don't know what Spotify is going to do is if they're going to have it in video form, because this is audio form only. And we don't know what they're going to be doing with that, unless there is a component for the video that will be premium. So to watch the show, you might have to pay for. But to listen to it, you're still going to be able to go and listen to it, which is good. Now, it just means, you got to sit through about 5 minutes of commercials talking about, all the things he's going to talk. All the commercials that he has up front will be there, obviously, more than anything else. And so Joe Rogan said it on to his Instagram, and he said it on his show. So bringing the show, according to Spotify's press release, the platform's more than 286 million active, doesn't that number, 286 million active users will have access to one of culture's leading voices. And Spotify has been doing a lot of buying up anyway. They're just trying to become the premier podcast portal. And honestly, if you're a podcaster, if you don't have your shows on Spotify, you have to. It's easy to put on. You absolutely have to be there, because Spotify is trying to go ahead and corner the market more than iHeartRadio does. iHeartRadio does its own, they have Ron Burgundy and they have what stuff works and things like that. They're definitely putting themselves out there. Spotify bought Gimlet Media. They bought Parcast. They bought the Anchor platform, so you can easily put your podcast up and no charge. If you don't know about it, anchor.fm/start. I talk about it on my When I'm Not Podcasting series. The audio is hosted on Anchor, so why not, right? And that's what's going on with that. Now, with the show, obviously you see the people that he brings on, they're going to get some people that are going to be really, they're going to say he's going to get the same guests, even though they might be considered, some conspiracy theorists, but that's the whole point. Joe Rogan's show has been a hodgepodge of everything. There's just it's a whole wide range of guests he brings on, people that he knows, people he's getting to know. It's really amazing. Also when you talk about, just during this presidential election season, Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, Andrew Yang, that's great stuff. And I'd rather have everybody have a chance to have that kind of platform where it's just easygoing. He can go 2-3 hours with no script and just talk. Just get the gab. That's a natural thing. And listen, anybody could do it, but there's a thing about the guests he has on, and naturally has good questions. It's really good to see that. So I can appreciate where he's going from with all that. Now, with this said, this is the legacy that Spotify is buying into, and this is it's true. It's bona fide. So it's been dominating Apple's podcasting charts and YouTube views. Rogan has 8.41 million subscribers on YouTube. His videos regularly rack up more than 1 million views. He actually, in his recent interview with Elon Musk, he got 13 million views overall. And the show is currently number 2 on Apple's charts and comprises 3 of the service's top 10 episodes. And the Talk series has been the most searched for podcast on Spotify, according to the service. And there you go. And again, in the story, they mentioned the fact that the program has often featured right-wing voices, including members of the so-called intellectual dark web, Proud Boy founder Gavin McInnes, and the platform conspiracy trafficker Alex Jones. We've also, like I said, Sanders' campaign. Sanders is on the show, and so much others. So now there is one thing that everybody is kind of questioning. When it comes to Rogan's show history of controversial guests and subject matter, a spokesperson for the company simply responded that all shows are subject to our content policies. Well, as far as I know, Spotify doesn't have any content policies in terms of what you can and can't say on the air. I don't think they regulate what's being put on. At least as far as I know, I haven't seen that. So for the podcasting industry, this is going to tell you something. This is the kind of Howard Stern money. For podcasting, this is Howard Stern money right here. And for Spotify, they're going to put that much into the show. I mean, if Joe Rogan's going to keep doing it and it's the consistent show that he has, great. They're going to get a lot of people over there. That's not even a question. My thing is everybody's going to be concerned about, will the content stay consistent? He's had it as an independent show for a long time. To have someone go ahead and back him like this, will there be complete autonomy, or could that go away? I was just talking about somebody else the other day. It's like, you go to Disney, and all of a sudden, okay, you have this whole deal set up, and then you said you're going to have creative control. You said you're going to have this certain amount of leeway, but then all of a sudden, no. 3 months later, no, we're going to take over control. I don't know how Spotify is that much of a corporation. And I haven't heard anything bad so far yet in terms of what they put on. But again, I never heard of any shows that Spotify has pulled off or censored. And as long as they don't do that, we should be just fine. My whole thing is, I think the video portion, I think people are going to would still like to go and watch that. I'd like to find out what they're going to do about that.